Welcome back to Romans International. Today we've got a video on something what we would say is more of an entry-level car into the whole sort of performance supercar world. Many people dream of buying their very first performance car, and as much as there are some people who are fortunate enough to have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini as their first car, more likely than not you're going to be looking at something like this. This is the Audi RS3. This is the Sportback version. They also do a Saloon version, and this particular one is the Sport Edition. I'll come back to what exactly that entails later on. But essentially this is one of the leading hot hatches on the market, and they have a real sort of cult following amongst petrol heads, enthusiasts. Even supercar owners and hypercar owners tend to have a little runabout car, something like this, that's not going to cost a fortune to run and that's a lot of fun to drive. So look, there's loads of videos online showing you exactly how these things drive. On Roman's channel, we like to talk more about the spec, the different options you can get, and sort of help you decide on which is the right car for you. This, for us as a dealer, we pretty much think this is very close to being the sort of perfect resale spec. So we're going to show you around this car and show you exactly why. Okay, so we'll start off talking about the paint. I'm sure many of you will know this paint is called Nardo Grey, which has become one of the most sought after and desirable colours I think we've really ever come across. Other manufacturers have tried to copy this paint, and I'm sure if you speak to some of the vinyl wrapping companies, the Nardo Grey is one of the most requested vinyl wraps that they ask for. But look, it's because it's just a very sort of cool, understated colour. I know it's not to everyone's taste, but it is modern, it's distinctive, it contrasts really nicely with the darker elements of the car, and one of the best things about it is actually doesn't cost anything from standard. It's actually the standard colour across the RS range. You obviously can choose an upgraded metallic paint, which are about £575, or they do a crystal paint, which is a bit more expensive. And then if you want something off menu, you can get an Audi exclusive paint there, £2,400. On a cheaper car like the RS3 compared to maybe the R8, you won't find too many cars in exclusive paint. You know, £2,400, quite a lot to spend on a paint for an RS3. Nardo Grey, I think, would be one of our top choices. Black, darker grey, also good. But look, colour's very much a personal choice, so the choice is yours. Okay, so as I've mentioned, this particular example is called the Sport Edition. They call it an edition, but in reality it's more like a pack or a trim level. It costs £4,000 more than the basic RS3. Mechanically it's exactly the same, but cosmetically you basically get a whole load of features as standard. One of them is the gloss black styling pack. So you basically get, instead of all the chrome and aluminium, you get this really cool darkened out grille. You get gloss black inserts here on the front bumper. Gloss black mirrors instead of the aluminium mirrors. You get gloss black window trim surrounds, getting rid of all that chrome. And then finally you get the gloss black rear diffuser. So in my opinion, that really sort of sets off the car, especially on a colour like Nardo Grey. You also get privacy glass as standard, and you also get the panoramic roof as part of the Sport Edition as well. Panoramic roof on its own is just under £1,100, so it's not a cheap option. Obviously you're going to get a lot more light into the cabin, bit of sun in your face on a day like today, and it also just contrasts really nice for the whole look of the car, and it does actually look very cool when it's open on tilt as well. Other options this car does have, it's got the electric folding mirrors. That's a £275 option. If you're parking in the street, or if you're doing city driving, that is a great option to have. Nothing worse than getting your mirror clipped and damaged. We actually had an R8 that got damaged the other day. It was almost £1,000 to replace it. One other thing you get on the Sport Edition, and possibly the best of the lot, is these alloys. These are the 19-inch, Audi call them the blade alloys. You'll see the completely diamond cut face, and you get all this sort of gloss black inserts, and they're a really, really nice alloy. And I think that's, for that reason alone, it's worth getting the Sport Edition. Okay, so just before we go onto the interior of the car, it's worth mentioning one more extra. This car doesn't actually have it. You get LED lights as standard, but you can upgrade that for £895 to the LED matrix headlights. You would have seen this technology on the new Porsche 992. It basically, instead of from the full beam dipping to the low beam, it basically has a setting where it still lights up majority of the road, but it dips certain headlights so it doesn't dazzle the oncoming traffic. So yeah, certainly if you're doing a lot of nighttime driving, that might be a good option to have. Okay, so onto the interior. As you can see, this car is all black, so they use fine black Napa leather. So on the Sport Edition, you get these seats. They're called Super Sport seats. The main difference being that you get all this lovely diamond quilting throughout both seats. This car's got it in silver stitching. You can spec red stitching. Normally I'm a fan of red stitching, but because there's so much stitching on these seats, the red looks pretty bold. So personally I would go with this. You can also get full silver seats with black stitching, so if you prefer a lighter interior, that's your option there. Strangely, I noticed on the configurator you can't spec electrically adjustable seats on the Sport Edition, but you can on the standard RS3. If anyone can clarify whether that is in fact the case, I'd be interested to know, so leave your comments. So you get the manually adjustable seats. You do get heated as standard, you do get lumbar support, you also get Isofix in the rear, so you can attach your baby seats. Another thing you do get on the Sport Edition as standard is you get these carbon inlays. You get carbon little strips on the door, carbon strip through the dashboard. So again, that's standard. So really showing the Sport Edition, actually when you combine all those things together, it's actually very good value. Because they're £850 if you don't have the Sport Edition, if you want the carbon. So you also get Alcantara and leather steering wheel. Because just on the media and entertainment side of things, you get loads of stuff as standard with the RS3. You get all your smartphone interface, loads of online services. You get Apple CarPlay as standard, obviously navigation, Bluetooth, digital radio. You also get wireless charging as standard. One option I would get is called the Comfort and Sound Pack. It's £995 for your money. You get the Bang & Olufsen sound system. The RS3 does tend to attract a younger audience, not always, but I know the younger generation would always like to have the Bang & Olufsen sound system. You also get within that pack the rear view camera, which is always useful for parking, and you also get the advanced key, so keyless start, keyless entry, so it really is a great value pack. Okay, so I mentioned earlier about something called the Audi Sport Pack. What it does is it gives you two things. It gives you the RS Sports exhaust and it gives you Audi Magnetic Ride. Luckily on the Sport Edition you get the RS Sports exhaust as standard. I'm not going to say the RS3 is the best sounding car in the world, but with the sports exhaust it does give you a few more crackles, a few more pops, and it adds to that fun factor of driving it. The one thing this car doesn't have is Audi Magnetic Ride. So what this is it's basically adaptive dampers. So it gives you adjustable suspension settings. Some people think it gives you comfort mode and dynamic mode. That is actually incorrect. So as standard on the RS3, you have Audi Drive Select. That is what gives you comfort mode, auto mode, and dynamic mode. Comfort mode is obviously for comfortable driving, for cruising along. Then you can just flick it into dynamic mode and that gives you better throttle response, gives you quicker shift times, gives you more direct steering. But what it doesn't do, unless you have Audi Magnetic Ride, that's the only way you can get the adjustable suspension. So we will get a much softer, noticeably softer ride in comfort mode, and you'll also get a firmer ride in dynamic mode if you get Magnetic Ride. So that is a good option if you want those settings. Okay, there's a couple more little packs I want to mention. One of them is called the Driving Assistance Pack. It's about £1,500. It's more of like safety technology features. So you have things like lane change assist, which notifies you if you're swerving out of lane. It's got adaptive cruise. It's got something called traffic jam assist. It kind of slows down and speeds you up as you sit in traffic. And it also has got the pre-sense, so it brakes for you if it thinks you're going into an accident. Look, not an essential for most people, but certainly if you do a lot of miles, do motorway miles, sit in traffic a lot, that's a good pack to get. One other thing you can get is the £1,600 de-restriction, which de-restricts the car to 174 miles an hour. Unless you're doing track days or planning on driving like a complete nutter, I would leave that one off. Not really that important. But look, it'd be lovely to have every single option you can get, but it's pretty unlikely because it would take the original list price so high. But that is pretty much all you can get on this car. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you found this video useful. It is so hot today, I need to go and find some shade and a cold drink. But look, this car, unfortunately, this sold a couple of days ago. But if you're in the market for one, I hope you found this video useful. If you're looking to sell one, please do get in touch. We're always looking to buy them, especially low mileage, high spec examples. But look, if you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you again soon. Catch you later.